There was this one series about 7 to 9 people. I don't remember the exact number of the people, but like these people all linked together. They all share their own memories, what they see, like what they saw, or like they share memories, even though they all are different, living in different countries. So I don't know what this series was about, but I really like the concept of it. And the reason why I bring this up is because I felt like I am not me when like I have so many me's inside of me that I'm constantly in argue, but at the end, what decides what kind of what kind of me is gonna come out is like it completely depends on where I am, like the location and what mood I'm at. And so, like for example, in the morning, I feel like shit. I don't know if everyone agrees with this, but like I'm always feeling this. I'm not saying like I don't want to wake up or like I'm feeling sluggish because I didn't eat well or I didn't sleep well. I do sleep well, perfect. Like I always sleep at least 8 hours every single day, and that's something that I'm always trying to prioritize above literally everything, since I think sleeping is so underrated. Although many people try to sleep more and kind of schedule their time, it's more important than the amount of time you sleep. But anyways, so like the moment I wake up, I have to follow X, Y, and Z. My morning routines, I gotta, like even simple moves cause so much of friction inside you since you just got up, and that's like the time when your cortisol's the highest. And it's good to be the highest since you like when you have high cortisol in the morning and you slowly kind of like decrease by time by noon, and you produce more melatonin, which makes you feel tired and sleepy at night. And it's natural and just human biology. But so in the morning I feel like shit, and I'm not saying I want to harass someone, like I'm gonna put up kind of mess around, how do I say this, like put up a fight if there was someone around me, but I'm actually like this close, but I never do it. I happen to feel like I'm such a bad person when I felt like this when I was living with my parents. Like I know they're right. I know I should have, I should just wake up and like eat morning breakfast together that they prepared for me. They are such like they wake up at like 5 to 6. So like I appreciate it, and I always felt this guilty about myself, like how I thought about it, like how I was unreasonably annoyed for them waking me up like a couple of hours earlier, because they think that 6 hours of sleep is enough. And kind of like they don't actually force me, but you get what I mean. Like they kind of make the situation and um kind of like if you don't wake up, then you're kind of a bad son, so you gotta wake up. And I don't know, like I always had this feeling in the morning, like I feel like I really am a bad person in the morning. But anyways, like so that's one me. And when I'm actually locked in like I gotta go to school and kind of, although I don't have any friends and anyone that I talk with, I have to put on this mask or like show what, like I have to switch this to another version of me, but kind of like walks kind of like how do I say, like I check myself how I look, I check if I'm walking straight or not, the kind of things you just feel more in, even though when you're not walking to like talking to anyone, you subconsciously, our mind knows that there are strangers around me. And especially at school, these people will see me at the same, like at this time every single day, and I have to come here regardless of me wanting or not. So like these people, I'm gonna see them, and although they are strangers, so I have to put on this another version of me. And I actually like this version of me since when during class time I get to I don't know why I always can focus much better when I'm around people. That's also one of the reasons why I intentionally go to the library, my school library, to study around people. Oh, like I have to bring my two laptops, sometimes two laptops, but usually one laptop, my MacBook, and some notes. And I use lots of different colors, so that like, I don't know, that has always been a thing to me. And like it's kind of hassle, but I know that it works weird. Like somehow it works better for me, so I always bring them to the library and study there. So like that's another version of me, and especially when I'm at the gym, like I'm always feeling this ambitious, like I'm doing something really good, like I'm disciplined, not that kind of ambitious, but like I imagine things that aren't real, but I'm so hyped up that I'm gonna reach that thing. And I know it's good in a sense, like it keeps me motivated every single day. I genuinely feel, I sometimes even feel much more motivated than the moment when I started gym, than the time when I started gym. Usually people, when they start doing something, like they have this fire inside them, and like that keeps them keep on going up again and again and again, and kind of like decreases, it fades away by time. But for me, it has always been like when I'm at gym, I felt alive, and it motivated me again and again. So it never was, maybe it's obsession, but I don't think it's discipline by any sense. Like I just love it. I cannot live without it. So I don't think me going to the gym 6 times a week, like always trying to prioritize that above everything, isn't discipline. It's just one of the reasons why I'm still alive, like my purpose, like also tied to my identity. So, and this version of me is really, how do I say, like I'm not saying that I don't like him, but more like it feels like I'm a stranger sometimes. Yeah, like because you go through so many yous, morning, school, gym, when you get back, like when you're alone, when I'm talking here, I'm also putting up another version of me. When I'm talking, even though I'm talking alone in front of a plastic camera, like it genuinely, as I said before in one of my previous videos, it feels like I'm talking to someone, but more in a way like I'm presenting. So it still makes my mind still tries to articulate, and like it functions in a way, operates in a way as if I'm talking to someone. And I really like that because I don't usually talk. I mean, I do talk to myself a lot, but usually I just rumble, and I know that I talk in like mindlessly sometimes in many of my videos, but it's more uh unorganized, since I don't even write, before you think and spit it out. I just literally just spit it out and talk to myself. Not even talk to myself. I talk as if someone's listening, which is kind of similar to this, but anyways. So that I just had this feeling of, so today I've been through that environment. Like it sometimes overwhelms me. I had gone through so many different kinds of me's and emotions that I'm so tired just living one single day. Trying to live this one single day fully. Because when you, like, what happens when you actually log in, or like when you try to maximize your time, is that you wake up early first, so you've got so much more time, like a couple of more hours, which is huge in the morning especially. And what happens is, like, you always have much more time to do something, and all you can do is do something, is something like productive stuff, studying or work, your career kind of things. And the reason why this is kind of overwhelming for some people like me is because I gotta admit it. I feel like I'm not the kind of person, or at least not right now, who can just work, like 24/7, work, work, work. Like, like keep on going for a couple of months, like weeks, months, without even checking on yourself. And that's why, but like that's exactly the reason why I keep giving myself some time to kind of indulge, like feel like, okay, I didn't just work today, I didn't just study today, but I also, you played video games or like you scroll 30 minutes, like I said before. And that kind of keep on going, but also at the same time, when you have so much time, then you gotta kind of put yourself into this suffering, like this journey. I know, but it's worth it at the end. Like I feel like, okay, I've done like I've done it. It's another small win. Like it's another day. Like keep on stacking up these days. And like although I know this isn't actually something, like I'm just convincing myself that I have something going, like that this life has meaning, and I'm sticking with this by doing my doing my best, and like I'm proud of myself and kind of stuffs. But like regardless of that, like just keep on acting has always helped me to stop thinking, because that's when things go really badly. I feel like once you just stop acting, and when what all you do is just keep on thinking, then that's the moment when you see all these weirdness, like weird parts about about your own behaviors and your surroundings. You start being aware of them, and that's what makes you detach from the reality that we call. And you go, so like I really don't like that. And obviously you could have seen in one of my, like many of my YouTube videos, talking about fulfillment and deprivation and fulfillment cycle, whether if it's a curse or not. I don't know. I personally just see it as how we humans work, like how we humans operate. We gotta have something going on to be healthy. I think I mean by healthy, to survive longer. So in terms of surviving longer, sticking to what society tells you, and believing in, like having a solid belief, yeah, having a solid belief, and living, how do I say, like abiding by laws, and all the kind of things are much better than living isolated and questioning everything around you. But yeah, back to the main context. I just feel like so many me's are tired, exhausting me so badly, and I just realize how different I feel I am, and this is one of the reasons why I think we are just observers of our own thoughts, and we aren't, like it's just like we don't exist, like in actual sense. I don't think like I even exist in actual, like real reality, just like I just know this notion, like I just read this article about how even inside our brains we have so many us, like this who's lustful, who this guy who's productive, this guy who's athletic, like there's so many me's inside our head, just like the movie Inside Out. It's kind of cute reference to this, but like they vote, and they move our bodies, and we think that like we are all one inside our head, but that actually might not be truth, according to this science. And how I feel, I think it's pretty tiring sometimes, like experiencing so many use, and you like being aware and conscious about them. It doesn't really feel like, sometimes it doesn't really even feel like, since you have so many yous, and right now I might be speaking like this, but like when that me comes out, then I wouldn't be this anymore, like you get what I mean. Just like I have this, idea when I back in the high school, when I used to overthink a lot more than right now. I used to think that we all die every single time we sleep. Like seriously, I used to think that, not like actually believe, but I used, if this is some kind of like theory that I had, one of the crazy theories that I had. Like I thought that we all die when we sleep. We kind of like reset our brain, so and we rewrite it in this body. So basically, you are not you anymore. But since you remember all the past memories of this body, so like you kind of function as you know, and you will never know since you have all the memories. Well, but obviously, like if you see us humans, like if memory is everything, then that means like we aren't actually dead. But the reason why I found like came up with this crazy theory is that I just felt like I talk, I act, and I like the way I operate is so different from this time and that time, even though if I was like in a single day, just like how I said, like right now me and tomorrow when I'm at school me are whole like completely different people. I feel like I don't even know how to explain this feeling. Like saying goes for the gym. Like right now I'm saying like I don't want to sleep. I don't want to sleep early. I don't want to do all the kind of stuffs. I feel lazy. But I'm gonna do it at the end since that me loves going to the gym. Like I write like because every single day, I don't know if anyone has felt the same way, but every single day, especially at night, I feel like I cannot do this, like continue doing this any longer. Studies, sometimes even YouTube. Like right now I say that I love doing YouTube. I feel like I'm talking to one of my friend. Like this is the only time when I'm actually speaking, and it really makes me feel like I am part of the community sometimes, or I love reading comments, but still like I feel like this genuinely and it's authentic, but some like many times I feel like I cannot do this anymore. Like no one's watching me, the kind of feelings. And I go back to normal. So like nothing actually happens, nothing's really changed, but that me still exists. So I don't know. I don't know. Like that again, like this we can relate this thought train of thoughts to as to why there cannot be actual like authentic love, you know since like the version of me that comes out just like comes out, like switches, like okay, like I meet my parents, I need to turn on this switch, and that's not actually me. Like maybe it is, it's just part of me, and they'll never even see me through, and same goes for me, I'll never see them through this wall of parents. They like them as humans instead of parents, instead of dad and mom, instead of a son. We will never be able to see through each other, and once we do, that's when we get disappointed, I feel like. And I'm not saying we all are sin the kind of things, but like realistically, okay, like this sounds like, since I'm sin, like I made so many mistakes in my life, I'm so ashamed about myself, and so by proxy everyone should be ashamed of themselves. Like we are all sinned, it's not just me. The kind of feeling like I don't want to be the only person who's evil, who's shameful. Maybe they are. Maybe just like if it's possible in theory, someone who's actually, because I don't know if it's just me, but there clearly were many people, like count, like maybe like tens of people who were genuinely nice. You just cannot imagine of them doing something bad in their life, but obviously they should have, no, like I don't know, like it's just my theory, but like everyone sinned at least. Everyone's sinners, and like like everyone made terrible mistakes back then or like years ago, since we can just change ourselves in front of strangers. And like most of the times, how we see others, how we perceive others actions are heavily based on how they look as well. And I cannot lie, like many people who I consider as like actually good people were not like sexually attractive, but they were just good looking, like many of them looked like really nice people. And and so like, okay, maybe it's not possible to actually know about someone else, like another consciousness, though we need like some kind of recognition and validations from others to develop our own consciousness. So I guess, like, I'm not saying like we are cooked, but in a sense, you just gotta do it at the end, because or else you're very likely to kill yourself. I might be extreme about this take, but I think that isolation, like extreme isolation, not the kind of isolation that hermits or Buddha, how do we call those people in China, like um like, I'm not saying those kind of isolations, because they still have their own communities. Like extreme isolation, trying to make sense of everything, but actually that's not the actual goal of these people who claim to question everything and make sense of everything, because that's just trying to not do anything by questioning everything. So I mean, you could actually be someone who's trying to seek for truth, but most of the times, truth isn't. It's like, um, it's like delusion. You don't, you intentionally question further enough so that you make that as not a truth. This is like the kind of defense mechanism that we do when you have nothing else to do, like nothing left inside you and in your life. So what you do is like, just, I don't want to do anything and I need a good reason. And that's usually nihilism, I feel like. It's just my opinion. I don't know. But yeah, like back, so I think isolation, like, although this is shit, although at the end you're gonna regret, maybe not regret, like after knowing this, maybe, let's say you meet a girl, you genuinely felt the connection. That's what we all feel throughout our human history, who married each other, like they, at least in some period of the time they were together, like they felt this genuine connection. And okay, this person is the real person, like it's not biology, it's just me, I feel love, if this is romantic, all the kind of things we all understand, but we fall for it. Like we know it's a trap, but our brain just turns the switch on when we become a fucking stupid, like dumb robot who tries to get closer to this person. And that's what I'm afraid the most of. Not that, not that a specific that version of myself, but just like I said, if right now of me, like, and the version of me that was at a gym, or when I'm angry at myself, I hate myself, or like, all the kind of versions of me are, I feel like they are so different, and I go through so many different kinds of emotions in a single day. Then imagine what can happen in years after, like like our biology turns on this switch of trying to, like, it's like the strongest emotion, love, fear, these are like primordial, whatever, like really strong emotions. So I don't know, maybe nothing's actually in our hand. Like nothing's actually like you can choose except for what you do right now. That's why I try to do more to give myself, like give this version of myself, right now version of myself, more agency, control in my life in general. Because if you keep on thinking instead of not acting, you at the end, that thinking is also emotion and you're gonna fade away. So that version of you died in that one single day, or like that version of you only lasted for a couple of months inside you. But let's say you keep on acting, you keep on stacking up these actions over and over and over again. And what happens is that becomes obsession and becomes part of you. So like that version of you ends up lasting, like lasting inside this body for years, maybe not like decades, maybe decades even. So you're in constant war inside you with your own self, trying to last longer. So in that sense, um, in that sense, it kind of motivates you to act, so that you don't die. Like you don't die inside you. Like this version of, because what happens most of times back then when I was at high school is like I denied myself of my past, and I hated that because that meant like even right now I could be wrong. Even right now in years, or even just like a couple of months later, of me will judge me and see me as a failure. That means I've, like, what can I do? Like I gotta just keep on doing. And I think that's such a good solution to this. I just came up with this while talking, like openly thinking out loud. And but I think that's such a good one, um, as to why we should act instead of think. You are gonna die if you don't act. Like you want to last longer. This version of you right now, you want yourself to last longer inside this body. I think that's a wonderful solution. I don't know why I feel like this after saying it by myself, but anyways, um, yeah, keep on trying, I guess. Like I think this is such a good reason, as like a reason to act. And also about love, I wanted to separate this video. That's why this is getting way too longer than I expected it to be. But like we all gonna regret. I feel like we all gonna. Like, I'm not saying like she's gonna cheat on you, like he's gonna cheat on you, but your partner's gonna definitely cheat on you. Because I personally believe that everyone can cheat on each other. Like if situations given, then everyone's gonna cheat, regardless of how good image. Like for example, like my mom, I can never imagine or think of her cheating. But if the situation was given at some period of her life, yeah, I mean, she's a human, I'm not justifying cheating at all, but if the situation is given, I'm saying like if some people have like it's just random, it's just RNG. Some people have much more opportunities and um have more chances, they get more chances to cheat, and they get this lured to it. How do I say this? Like you get challenged, yeah, challenged, that's what I'm trying to say. Like you get challenged so many times, while relatively unattractive people tend to not get as many opportunities as attractive people. So like I don't know, I just specifically pointed at cheating because that's also what I think the most about a failed relationship, and many people do. But also at the same time, I feel like if I know this already, like it's out of my hand, or like even like I'll act, I have the kind of plans in my head of how I'm going to, if I have a girlfriend in the future, if I have a partner, like how I'm gonna try to do something consistently, like walking days, every Saturday's walking day we gotta talk honestly about themselves, like what happened throughout the week, like what bothered them, what when the other partner said something to him, to them, the kind of things that I used to watch before, while not even having a girlfriend or having not a single thought of marrying someone. But you know, um, regardless of this, or like doing all this, if if I think that I'm gonna regret at the end, then I'm kind of free, you know. Okay, like that's gonna happen at the end, or like if the situation is given, it's gonna happen. Even if it doesn't happen, I'm just a lucky one, and I need someone. I think I need someone. Then okay, it can be helped, can it? You know, like you just gotta do it, I guess. Then also that makes another reason to why you should focus on yourself than chasing someone. Just like in general, like trying to get approved by that person. Of course, like again, we need validations and recognition from others to grow, but always keeping balance. Not like me. I don't know, like I don't know. I sound weird sometimes, but I feel like I'm balanced in a sense. Like I do talk with strangers, like time by time. I just don't have like consistent. Um, I mean, that could be seen as consistent. Like I go to the gym every single day, and time by time I just dap up with some dudes from Germany and friends, and you know. Um, anyways, this video is getting way longer than I used to, than I thought. Thank you for watching the video.